Rev. John Jamieson, FRSE FSA Scot FRSL. 5 March 1759 to 12 July 1838. Was a Scottish minister of religion, lexicographer, philologist and antiquary. His most important work is the Dictionary of the Scottish Language. Life. He was born in Glasgow in March 1759, the son of Rev. John Jamieson, minister of the Associate Congregation on Duke Street. He was educated at Glasgow Grammar School. He was educated at the University of Glasgow 1768 to 1771, and subsequently attended classes at the University of Edinburgh 1775 to 6. After 6 years' theological study, Jamieson was licensed to preach in 1781 and became pastor of an anti-burgher congregation in Forfar, Angus. In 1797 he was called to the anti-burgher church in Nicholson Street, Edinburgh. The union of the burgher and anti-burgher sections of the Secession Church in 1820 was largely due to his exertions. He retired from the ministry in 1830, spending the rest of his life in Edinburgh. In the 1830s he is listed as living at 4 George Square on the south side of the city. Jamieson was elected a Fellow of the Royal Society of Edinburgh in 1803. His proposers were James Bonar, Alexander Fraser Tytler, and William Moody. He was also a Fellow of the Society of Antiquaries of Scotland. He was elected a member of the American Antiquarian Society in 1816. He died at home, 4 George Square in Edinburgh on 12 July 1838 and is buried in St Cuthbert's churchyard. Works. Jamieson's major work, the Etymological Dictionary of the Scottish Language, appeared in 2 vols. In 1808, a meeting the Danish scholar Grim Thorkelin had suggested this work, and, working with Thomas Ruddiman's glossary to Gavin Douglas's version of the Aeneid, Jamieson completed the work almost alone. He prepared an abridgment in 1818, reissued in 1846 with a memoir by John Johnston, and aided by numerous others. He added 2 supplementary volumes in 1825. The work drew on folklore and provincialisms. The introductory antiquarian dissertation supported a theory on the Pictish influence on the Scots language. A revised edition by John Longmuir and David Donaldson was issued in 1879–87. These volumes remained the standard reference work for the Scots language until the publication of the Scottish National Dictionary in 1931. Jamieson's other works included Socinianism Unmasked, 1786, A Poem on Slavery, 1789, Sermons on the Heart, 2 vols. 1791. Around the same time he authored a pamphlet on the African slave trade entitled The Sorrows of Slavery, Congal and Fenella, a metrical tale, 1791. Vindication of the Doctrine of Scripture. In reply to Joseph Priestley's History of Early Opinions, 2 vols. 1795. A Poem on Eternity, 1798. Remarks on Rowland Hill's Journal, 1799. The Use of Sacred History, 1802. Important Trial in the Court of Conscience, 1806. Etymological Dictionary of the Scottish Language, 2 vols. 1809 and 1810. A treatise on the ancient Chaldees of Iona, also retitled A History of the Chaldees, 1811. Published, through Walter Scott's support, by Ballantyne, Hermes Scythicus, 1814. Expounding affinities between the Gothic and the classical tongues. Views of the Royal Palaces of Scotland, 1828. Published posthumously. Jamieson wrote on other themes: rhetoric, cremation, and the Royal Palaces of Scotland, besides publishing occasional sermons. In 1820 he issued edited versions of John Barber's Bruce and Blind Harry's Wallace. Posthumous was dissertations on the reality of the Spirit's influence. 1844. Family. In 1781, Jamieson married Charlotte Watson, died 1837, daughter of Robert Watson, Esq. of Easter Rhind, Perthshire, and had 17 children, of whom only 2 daughters and 1 son survived. His son, Robert Jamieson, died 1834, advocate, became a distinguished member of the Faculty of Advocates. This article incorporates text from a publication now in the public domain. Chisholm, Hugh, ed. 1911. Jamieson, John. Encyclopaedia Britannica. 11th ed. Cambridge University Press. This article incorporates text from a publication now in the public domain. Jamieson, John. 1759 to 1838. Quote, Dictionary of National Biography. London. Smith, Elder & Co. 1885 to 1900. Works by John Jamieson at Project Gutenberg. Works by or about John Jamieson at Internet Archive. Jamieson's Etymological Dictionary of the Scottish Language online. John Jamieson at Boswell's Scottish Dictionary.